Jon. Jon is a man of many nicknames. There's Jon.
Chon.
And J-Rob.
Broccoli Rob. And Hey Johnny. All aliases for who is most affectionately known as Jon Robinson.
Jon is just a super hard-working person. It's probably a bold statement, but I honestly think that I don't know that I've met anybody that works harder than Jon.
Jon is sweet because Jon is always up for a challenge. It does not matter if it's musical or if it's anything else. Jon is a dude who is going to rise to the occasion, and it is so cool for me to rub shoulders with him in that regard.
Jon is a very creative person. He is always thinking of new song ideas or stage plots or whatever you can think of. He's probably thought of it, I'm sure. He's just always thinking of new ideas.
I remember the first time I ever met Jon, and I remember afterwards just thinking back and thinking, man, that is just such a nice guy. He's so kind, and he just has this like really warm, endearing personality that is just really nice to be around.
Jon is a father. As of right now, he's the only father in this band. And it's really cool to be around Jon because I feel like I don't have to have a deep conversation with him about his family. I can just tell by the way he acts that his priority is with his family, and in this group of guys, that is the most important thing.
Jon isn't discouraged by a challenge. He's not intimidated. Honestly, like, it seems like he kind of thrives on it. He thrives on like needing to reach a new level, and it's inspiring to me. It pushes me because like it's just awesome. It's awesome to see it.
Being in the band with Jon is cool because he's just a very hard-working person. He's always practicing his parts, whether it's his drum parts, his guitar parts, his vocal parts, any part he has, he just always practices it. In between practice songs, he's practicing his parts. Before recording his parts at the studio, he was, especially his vocals, he spent an hour to 2 hours doing vocal warm-ups, and it's just very encouraging to see someone work that hard at their craft.
What's funny about Jon with music is I think if you would meet him and you weren't at a show or anything, he would probably say that he's primarily a drummer. And what's interesting is he mostly plays guitar in this band. At first I think it was a little bit out of his comfort zone, but again, what's just so great about working with him is I feel like you could just ask him to play the craziest thing in the world and he would just go home and practice it for hours and hours and hours until it was awesome.
This album was just really sweet to track because we had a producer that I've always wanted to do something with, and just watching him work was just really cool. That the guy knows what he's doing. He's kind of a genius.
Working on Move in Place with Jon was really great. Getting down to the studio and seeing him sing his harmonies by himself and hearing those, just soloed out, was really new to me. You were at practice and you might hear some of the harmonies, maybe, but I had never heard Jon sing like that before, just like his voice. And I think it's on the album, and maybe it's just me, I just feel like him and Aaron's voices like really clicked on this album. I think the harmonies sound so good together. And I think there's just another like dimension of just not just sounding good, but like they just work so well together. You can kind of like almost hear like the friendship they would have, and like I think that's just how the whole album turned out. I think like we are like in this album in that way.
There have just been multiple ways that Jon has grown in writing Move in Place. There has been multiple ways that Jon was pushed and honestly like had to grow, where he had to develop in certain ways, and in every single time Jon rose to the challenge.
I've done a few different records with a few different bands, and all of them I've always felt a little weird about. This one I feel really good about, and I don't know if I can explain why. I just think everything is like really real, and it's really us, and there's no fluff. It's just like these are good songs, and I'm just really stoked.